Have you ever heard of the Ghost program? It sounds like something straight out of a spy movie, but I assure you, this was a very real and very secret chapter of Cold War history. Imagine this. The year is 1962. The world is on a knife's edge, caught between the United States and the Soviet Union. In this high-stakes game of espionage, the CIA needed an edge, a way to operate in the shadows, completely unseen. Their solution: the Ghost program. This wasn't about phantoms or supernatural entities. The Ghosts were some of the most advanced aircraft ever conceived, designed to be nearly invisible to enemy radar. The program's crown jewel was the A-12, a sleek, black, futuristic-looking jet built by Lockheed's legendary Skunk Works division. This aircraft was a true marvel of engineering, a ghost in the machine. The A-12 was designed for one primary mission: strategic reconnaissance. It was meant to fly higher and faster than any plane before it. We're talking altitudes over 85,000 feet, so high that the pilots could see the curvature of the Earth. And its speed. It could cross the continental United States in just over an hour, cruising at more than 3 times the speed of sound over 2,200 miles per hour. At that speed and altitude, the Soviet surface-to-air missiles and interceptor jets simply couldn't touch it. It was, for all intents and purposes, invincible. To achieve this incredible performance, the A-12 was built almost entirely from titanium, a metal that was incredibly difficult to work with at the time. In fact, so much titanium was needed that the CIA had to set up shell companies to buy it from the Soviet Union, the world's main supplier. That's right. The US was secretly buying the raw materials for its most advanced spy plane from its primary adversary. You can't make this stuff up. The plane's design was equally revolutionary. It had sharp, angled edges and was coated with a special, radar-absorbent black paint. This combination was the precursor to modern stealth technology. It was designed to scatter and absorb radar signals, making the aircraft a tiny, fleeting blip on an enemy's screen, if it was detected at all. This is why it was a ghost there. One moment, gone the next. The pilots chosen for this elite program, codenamed Oxcart, were the best of the best, recruited from the Air Force. They underwent rigorous psychological and physical testing. They weren't just pilots, they were astronauts, in everything but name. They even wore specialized pressure suits, similar to what astronauts wore, because flying at such extreme altitudes was like being in the vacuum of space. If the cockpit lost pressure, a standard oxygen mask wouldn't be enough to keep them conscious. The entire program was shrouded in absolute secrecy. It was operated out of Area 51, the now famous, then unknown, desolate base in the Nevada desert. For years, the existence of the A-12 and the Ghost program was one of the US government's most closely guarded secrets. The pilots and ground crew couldn't tell their families what they were working on. To the outside world, they had simply vanished. The A-12's first operational mission, codenamed Black Shield, took place over North Vietnam in 1967. For the next year, these ghost planes flew dozens of missions, gathering critical intelligence on enemy military installations, missile sites, and troop movements. They flew with impunity, dodging hundreds of missiles without ever being hit. Their speed was their greatest defense. But here's a twist in the story. Despite its incredible success, the A-12's operational life was surprisingly short. It was a victim of its own success and rapidly changing technology. By the late 1960s, spy satellites were becoming more capable, offering a way to gather intelligence without risking a pilot's life or a multi-million-dollar aircraft. Satellites could loiter over a target for days, whereas the A-12 could only provide a high-speed snapshot. At the same time, another ghost was emerging from the shadows. You might be more familiar with this one. The SR-71 Blackbird. The SR-71 was a 2-seat derivative of the A-12, developed for the Air Force. While the A-12 was arguably the more high-performance machine in some ways, politics and inter-service rivalry played their part. The government decided it didn't need 2 separate, expensive, high-speed reconnaissance programs. So, in 1968, after just a year of operational missions, the Ghost program was terminated. The fleet of A-12s was secretly flown to a storage facility in Palmdale, California, and locked away. Their existence remained classified for decades. The pilots and crews who had risked their lives were sworn to secrecy, their incredible achievements hidden from public view. It was until the 1990s that the story of the 12-ox cart and the Ghost program was finally declassified. Today, you can see these incredible machines in museums across the United States. They stand as silent monuments to a secret war fought in the stratosphere. When you look at the A-12, you're not just looking at an old plane. You're looking at a piece of history that pushed the boundaries of what was thought possible. It represents the ingenuity, the bravery, and the extreme secrecy of the Cold War. The Ghost program was more than just about building a fast plane. It was about gaining a decisive advantage in a global conflict where information was the ultimate weapon. It was a program that produced a machine so advanced, it seemed to belong to the future. It was a ghost, a legend, and a testament to the incredible lengths nations will go to in the name of security. So next time you hear a whisper about secret government projects or see a strange light in the sky, remember the story of the Ghost program? Sometimes, the truth is even more incredible than the fiction. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into aviation and espionage history, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories from the classified world.
Now,
They call them ghosts, men and women who exist only in classified files. And your first real mission is watching one of the most dangerous men alive. On paper, he's a successful businessman. But every month, he moves millions to terrorist cells. So you watch. You map his routines, his friends, his driver, even his secrets. Because to find the target, you have to understand his entire world. 1 day, the courier arrives. Inside that briefcase, he's everything. You follow him across the city. Room 412. That night, another team enters. They copy every page and returned everything exactly as it was. A week later, $40 million disappears. 12 arrests are made. 3 terrorist attacks are stopped. And your name is on nothing. Then comes the mission that defines your career. A man called the Engineer. His bombs have killed hundreds. For 3 years, no one could find him. So you start somewhere else. You hunt his network across 3 countries. You become a journalist, then an aid worker, then a businessman. For 14 months, you build the map. Then finally, the call is intercepted. A special guest is arriving soon. You watch. You count guards, track vehicles, and then confirmation. He's there. 72 hours later, the operation begins. The world hears only a single sentence on the news, but somewhere, 2 new stars appear on a memorial wall. Years pass. You miss birthdays. You lose relationships. And sometimes, you forget who you really are. But somewhere, a bomb doesn't explode. 200 people go home to their families. They will never know your name. And that is the point. The world is protected by people who don't exist. Some wars are fought in silence. Some heroes are never known. Thanks for watching.